A rebel who went searching for treasures in his soul, fishing for gold. I found a key to unlock the door to my mind's gate, hidden with some hieroglyphs. Told me about my future and my past, and that I should get. Till I work it and get up off my ass. I'm on the path to move the masses to spiritual tactics. So masters, you bastards, spread it through classes. Live your life.
The veil has lifted the energy, shit that my indigos get that we different. Off the loose, so we tripping, the platinum we sipping. Now the dimensions are dripping. Unless you are different, you won't know the difference, or make a difference, you slipping. You're chasing this chicken, decoding the digits, you know that I stay on my pivot. Your body's the shell, your spirit's the snail, so why are you chasing your tail? They got you so pale, what is that smell? Chemtrails, what you inhale? I feel like evil Knievel. I'ma build me a cathedral for all of my people, so how that they cannot reach you. Power to the people, we are equal. All this evil, let us see that they cannot reach you. You are ascended, no more pretending. Merkaba spinning, now the stars are bending. Conscious extending all your comprehension. And not to mention, release all the tension. They want us divided, cause they know united. We will override it. Fifth dimension, we gon' overnight it. Light the flame, baby, let's ignite it. So they can't hide it, nah, they can't hide the light. We blow up like dynamite. Had to kill the old me, cause I ain't want the kind of life. Nah, thought out.
Wake up, it's the indigo clutch. Wake up, 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 it's the indigo clutch. Wake up, 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 it's the indigo clutch. Wake up, 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 it's the indigo clutch. It's the indigo clutch. Wake up, wake up.
Elevate the masses, gotta find your passion. This our conscious flow, reppin' indigo. Know we free to glow, do this lyrical vision. Your goals form a path to proceed. Growing up, I was different. Outcast in the streets always had me a purpose to speak to the weak. Just believed in myself and my spirit prevailed. Said I found my way. Now they all say I'm their protege when they quote the name.
Grand rising, grand day, everybody. Welcome in, good to see everybody. Good to see you, Queen. I am here for Rising with Ra. And I am your sacred host and sacred pharaoh of the space, Marcus, aka Crystolite. And today we are going to be exploring the higher heart chakra. And that will be the chakra in the second half of today's Rising with Ra that we will focus on to do self-healing Reiki to balance and activate. And later on, I will give you a brief description about the chakra so you can become more aware of it and connect with it. And we are continuing Norse Viking Mythology Week. So we will be continuing to explore the different Norse mythologies, and that includes the gods and goddesses like Freya, Odin, and Thor. And there will be some more that I will go through as well in the second half of the live. And then you'll be able to choose which Viking mythology god or goddess you would like to incorporate into your higher heart chakra activation, which is located at the top of the chest. But first half of this live here on Rising with Ra, we will briefly do our collective card reading for today and tomorrow. It'll be one card for each. And then we will be having a sacred guest joining us today. And this guest is a wonderful music maker. He's very conscious when it comes to esoterics and ancient knowledge. And he is someone that also dedicates himself to the path of balance and wholeness and understanding of the universe and creation. Aquavision, and he will be joining us after the card reading. to talk a little bit about music, as well as his conscious path, and a few other gems that we have for you guys. So thank you all for tapping in, and enjoy this space. Clear us up. Some Palo Santo. So Palo Santo, for all of you out there, is also called the Holy Wood. As in South America, it is one of the most sacred and prestigious woods that you can find. And it has properties like white sage. And white sage is clearing out negative energy, clearing out blocks, densities, as well as bacteria and toxins that are in the air. And it also is a protective energy shield. So along with that, Palo Santo does the same. Just has a different smell and a different physical representation.
This is a sacred, sober, safe space for those who want to express, learn, and heal. I, Kristen, also known as Holistic_Butterfly, and my partner Marcus, also known as Sacred Light 33, will be present for all sessions. In these sacred containers, we will take part in holding space and facilitating breath play or meditation. In these journeys, we will help you to align your chakras and connect with your higher self. As a beautiful addition, we will receive newly recorded drum music specifically made with the intention for our journeys. This will be lovingly made by a friend, Chuck Wilson. He is a sacred shamanic drum maker and musician. This will take place on the first and third Friday of every month at 7 p.m. EST. To reserve your spot, click the link in bio at holistic_butterfly on Instagram. And if you have any questions, please send an email to Kristen, KRISTEN.Hibbard, HIBBARD @live.ca, with the subject title being Sacred Space Fridays. One love, beautiful souls.
Alright, so today on our card reading, we will be using Beyond Lemuria Oracle deck. Not going to go too extensive today since we have a sacred guest joining us, but I will briefly run through one card for each day, today and tomorrow. Interesting. Okay. Ooh, okay, what a combo. I think you guys are gonna really get some empowering messages through this. So our first card, which is going to be for today, on this Wednesday, is going to be new blueprints. And I'll go ahead and read it out of the book for you guys. And it is, be the change, take action, take a step, no matter how small, ignite an upward spiral, making a positive change, ethics and compassion, creating a ripple of light. Divinatory meaning, this card inspires action, no matter how small, that will create a ripple of light in the world. You are a part of a bigger picture, a greater story, and your actions, your choices, your presence are making a difference. You have more power than you realize. Focus on what you can do and do it well. Change takes time, so make plans and start now. Ooh. New blueprints. That's a really good one. It also says here, be the change you wish to see. Boom. This is a mantra to remind you that you can always step up and create the blueprints for the world we want to know. That is so powerful.
Now we're in a tough spot again, Rach. What do you want to do? How do you want to handle it? Huh? Do you want to fight for us, or do you want to bail?
Yeah, so, really I've been feeling that lately. It's just like this place of kind of like, okay, we're going to hand the keys over to you a little bit more in this human reality. And are you going to continue to step up? Are you going to continue to grow? Are you going to continue to mature with yourself? Are you going to be able to stabilize your emotions? Be able to tap in and listen to your intuition? Feel the guidance? See the guidance that's just flowing through? See the messages all around you and why you are where you are, and that you're in a beautiful place, and that you can continue to create even more beautiful vibrations in your energy field and in your reality. And it's all up to you what you continue to keep in your energy space and what you allow in. And a lot of us have been going through quite the trials and tribulations with our own self lately. And this is for, I don't want to say good cause, because it's not about good or bad, but it's about really just being able to shed layers and continue to raise our frequency while we're in this human reality and existence. So the shaking up and, the rethinking and reflecting and emotional awareness, these are all things to help you continue to shed layers, put a flashlight on the dark corners of your own shadow. And it's up to you, though, if you're going to be accountable and responsible for working with that shadow and bringing the light to the shadow, and really being done with it, being done with continuing to hold on to everything or to attach to everything, or just not find your inner peace through the things that aren't about you or really revolving around your control. All right, so that's the first card, and that is for today, on Wednesday, new blueprints. And our second card, which is going to be for tomorrow on Thursday, we have Realm Bridger. Ooh, Realm Bridger. Okay. Some of us do realm bridging through many different arts and creations, and we just don't really realize it. But let's see, Realm Bridger, we have visionaries, architects of the future, information from other realms, bridging the seen with the unseen, inspiration, seeing a new earth, traversing different states of consciousness, birthing ideas from subtle reality, journeying. Yeah. You know, this right here, this is why we're having very lucid and very profound dreams and astral travels. Part of the reason is because of this, because we're realm bridgers. And it's not just happening out of coincidence. We know what we're doing. There's just a little bit of amnesia in between. And what we're doing is we're bridging these realms between the astral and dream state and the physical. And through these experiences in the different realms and dimensions, we're able to take the codes and bind the codes in between different dimensions. And the codes translate into different forms depending on the dimension. And then that form represents symbolically that code depending on what dimension you're in. That makes sense? So like here in the 3D, you know, you may take something back from a really deep meditation where you went to, you know, the planet Sirius, and you received a code of information from the meditation in that space. So then you bring it back, and then what you can do is you can bring that code and program it into something symbolically in the physical to access that code and remembrance, that memory, I should say, by using something symbolically. That is what we do. And that may give you guys some answers. That may also clear up a little bit of thoughts surrounding, you know, what we're doing in dreams, what we're doing in the astral realm, and seeing that it's all intermeshed together. And the more that we can like pull out those walls of divide and separation about these different layers of life, then we can see how it synchronizes and all flows. So you are the pioneer of your life. The way forward may be in your dreams or visions. You might find it useful to do automatic writing or intuitive drawing to capture some of the more lucid information. Be creative and don't take on the opinions of others. It's time to think and do a whole other way. After all, as the saying goes, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Oof. The magic of that reading. Got my Reiki hands flowing. Yeah, wow. I don't have much more to say about that. I trust that we definitely received the wake up and messages that we needed through that reading. And if you guys ever want to rewatch that, you can watch it on the replay, Sacred Light 33 here on Instagram, as well as on the YouTube channel, where this episode will be in full on Sacred Light Healing and Wellness by the end of today. Wow. So today on Wednesday we have new blueprints. Stepping forward in new awareness, taking forth into new actions, collaboration projects as community, and continuing to build that network, that web of the new earth grid. And then realm bridger, stepping into your awareness of who you are multidimensionally, remembering that you are the medium, you are the bridge for different dimensions, and you are traveling consciously through different bodies and awareness states through those dimensions. And physical 3D is just one of many, and one of the most densest out of all of them. So just remember. Alright, so that does it for our reading, our collective reading. I'll go ahead and close that space out with a little bit of sweetgrass to bring some joyous and uplifting energies into the field. And then here in just a moment, we will go ahead and take a break for like 2 minutes or so. And then we will have our sacred guest join in and share a little bit of his light, his knowledge, and his path when it comes to music and consciousness, Aquavision, as he will be joining us after we take this little break. I'm presenting to you my Sacred Light services that are available currently. I am currently offering Reiki, chakra alignment and empowerment, intuitive life guidance, soul origin galactic therapy meditation sessions, as well as sacred oracle readings. These are all services that I'm divinely offering and have available to you any day of the week. You may contact me through my email, which is marcustut23@gmail.com, through Facebook at Crystal Light Robbins, or through Instagram at Sacred Light 33. And if you have any questions, feel free to message me at any of those contacts, and I will give you the best answer I can to help you get clarity upon what could best suit you on your journey. And we can book a session whenever you're ready. Wholeness, balance, love, vibrations. All right, we are back. Welcome back, everybody, to Rising with Ra. And we are now going to navigate into our sacred guest space. And our sacred guest, Aquavision, is here and is going to be joining us. He is a musician. He creates his own instrumentals, his own beats. He flows. And he's also a Hello, brother man. Good to see you.
Yo, Grand Rising. Sun's coming up through the window right now.
Grand Rising.
Yes.
I know it's a little bit earlier over there. You're on the West Coast, right?
Yeah, it's 8:37 according to the mechanism of this timekeeper.
The Gregorian timekeeper.
Yeah. I busted this out when you did yours. I was like, oh, I haven't actually burned any of that. I've been sitting on it for a minute. So
Nice. I love Palo Santo. I love the really sweet, uplifting smell of it.
yeah, it smells really good, bro. I was like, man, this is some good vibes, and it's just like it really balanced me out for the morning. So thank you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I really kind of like emphasize making sure to do the things that I find really helpful for myself when I'm on the live, to like kind of visually show people, you know, like the different things that I utilize throughout the day to help myself.
Word. I love
And
that.
not just that, and also, you know, it consciously connects to the collective too.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, I love what you're doing here, and I love how you're just mixing all of the various, you know, cultural expressions in a timeless manner, and you're just like fusing them into your practice and your service. It's really cool.
Yeah, man, thank you. You know, I really wanted to show people that, you know, it's all universal. It's not
Word.
that really there's one way to everything, and we can like step into the perception of like mythology standpoint instead of like, I guess you could say like super finite religious point of view. You can like see that, oh, okay, like everything is kind of like an aspect, or it's like an energy archetype, and it's just playing a role of representing in a creative way different parts of our own self and how the conscious universe is expressed.
Yeah, it's really beautiful, bro. Yeah, it's I always like to outline how it's like it's a myth, right? It's a story, it's a narrative, and it's a telling, and it's as much within as it is without, and that's within all the varying, you know, thoughts, charged thoughts, emotions, and then all of our circumstances, whether we think they're in alignment or not, they're always the natural expression of creation, and it's dope, you know, whether things are ecstatic and like really exhilarating, or they're just really simple and maybe even seemingly boring. It's all part of one beautiful expression, and integrating all of that is what I live to do, and I think it's what we all live to do.
Yeah, man. Wow. What a beautiful way to start off. What What a flow. So I want to say thank you for joining me and being a sacred guest here on Rising with Ra. And for everybody out there, he goes by Aquavision here on Instagram. Go ahead and give him a follow. Conscious music artist, as well as conscious knowledge seeker and embodier, and a personal life coach as well, I believe, correct?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and hand the floor over to you and let you introduce yourself, brother man.
All right, cool. Yeah, I appreciate you having me, bro. I really do. You're awesome, Marcus. Yeah. So yeah, pleasure to meet you all. Pleasure to be here. I'm in immense gratitude just to be kicking it in such a graceful spot. So my earthly name was given Kevin, but my recreated name is Aquavision, and I'm a father and a husband, and I'm a being, right? I'm a being first, and then I within that I like to imagine that I'm doing things. So I'm a father and a husband, and recently, over like the last 6 months, I transitioned from working in Yosemite National Park, which was a blessing all in itself. But I kind of feel like it was a training ground for me to just ground out, also go through a lot of hard trials to like refine myself through the fire. And so over the last 6 months, I actually stepped away from that gig through a myriad of different things that unfolded. Some of it was from me enabling affirmations daily, and then utilizing those in combination with my my thoughts and emotional sets, and while all of the seemingly outside parts were out of my control, they ended up calibrating me into the exact vision that I was invoking within my affirmation. It was not fun, like it wasn't the easiest, but it was necessary. And I feel like we can always envision and manifest whatever we want, but the means by which we get there is like, that's the beauty of the discovery, and so I've spent since I was like a kid, I've always loved making beats and rapping, freestyling, and really just wondering about the nature of like myself, wondering about the nature of this reality, and always had big questions, like what is this word God? What is the actual essence of what God is? And I love studying spirituality, religious ideologies, philosophy, and how that all ties together, because it does. It's an expression of this life that we're living. And, in the most simple sense, I just came to find on my journey that, God is a living, breathing, animate thing. It's not compartmentalized. It's not something that's, off in the clouds, a nimbus, but it's something that's very active within all things. And so over the last few months, I felt really caught. Like I started coaching from home, and then I started doing a lot more mixing as a service to people. But then from that, Spirit just kind of guided me to, my intuition guided me to just create various templates around my journey and then share them with the conscious community. And so I brought one of those today, and I had actually not even really thought about it until right before this live. Maybe like last night I was kind of letting it marinate a little bit, but then you drew the cards and you started talking about new blueprints, and I was like, this is beautiful, because the gift that I brought, which is completely free to everybody, it's a pay what you can guide, but it's free if it needs to be free. It's probably going to be backwards, but it's 9 to 5 hacks for spiritual creatives. And I spent about probably a few months writing it out, but the sum total of all the experience that went into it was, definitely like the bulk of it was like the last 5 years, but really probably the totality of working for various industries, corporations, the government over the course of like 10 years, and then kind of finding myself through that process, and realizing that, I had this personal narrative before where I really felt like a lot of these things were keeping me back from being able to be creative, explorative, philosophical, spiritual even. But I realized that it was quite the contrary. That all of everything that I experienced, sum total, like I would even say, even from like my family life and everything going on into my adulthood, working for these various jobs that maybe didn't seem like the best fit for me, were actually all conditioning grounds for my ultimate spiritual evolution. And I believe that to be the case in all matters, which you've definitely touched on this morning. And yeah, so basically my 9 to 5 hacks for spiritual creatives is geared towards, anybody who just feels uncomfortable or feeling like they're lacking value or not able to find value within their current position, whether they're working a 9 to 5 or they're doing a part-time thing, and maybe they want to continue to work a 9 to 5, but they want to find some peace with that, or maybe they want to step away from it. And really, like, my ultimate goal in this isn't to lead anybody to any answers, but it's to lead them to rediscover themselves through the moment and how they're interacting with it. And so it's a pretty short book, a guide really. It's only about 17 pages. There's a lot of illustration in there that I actually collaborated with AI to create. And I tried to be brief. There's about 7 different hacks, and they're each about maybe a page or 2 long. And it's free. So if anybody, follows me, I'll be sure and follow you back, check out whatever you're into. And you can go to my link in my bio, and it's a free guide. And if you read through the guide and you get to the end and you find value in it, and you want to, extend value back my way, you can have options to do that. It's at the end of the guide. But even more than the monetary side of it, I even say, if you just want to hold space and gratitude for me on my creative venture, that's worth more than any physical form of anything to me. So yeah, I think that these are new templates, and I'm certain that there are a lot of other people within the collective starting to build this way and create this way. And yeah, so I was just hoping to maybe share a little bit of it with you. Yeah, so we've got this one. I just felt called to share because I felt like it really resonated with what the theme of your Rising with Ra today and your drawing. But this is the number 4 hack in the guide, 9 to 5 hacks for spiritual creatives, and it's called network and relation. And regardless of how you want to create value in life, you'll inevitably be interacting with people and servicing them directly or indirectly. Being of service to others is the greatest gift we have, period. It's the backbone of how I find the most success, fulfillment, life connection, and even bringing the most capital through various ventures. If you're not already, you can use your current job as an opportunity to build relationships with colleagues, clients, suppliers, etc., that could potentially help you in starting a freelance venture or developing a creative process that much more. A lot of the people you work with might feel similar to you and would love to exchange insights on pursuing a meaningful or passion-filled venture in life. I really don't believe that there's many people who don't feel that on some, within some depth of their soul. Some of these people might become partners, clients, or collaborators who can reinforce your vision. If you work with the public, which is a lot of people who work in 9 to 5s, especially on entry levels, which I did for years, you have a constant stream of creative, spiritual, and business-minded people that you're constantly interacting with, and you may have just been not really seeing them that way, maybe framing them as customers, clients, associates, and possibly bypassing the intrinsic value each of them have or could develop with you. And so, yeah, like my journey over the past, 10 years, but definitely consolidated a lot, and really started to marinate a lot in the last 6 months, was just beginning to really realize that, the divine is in all. And, these are notions that I think there's a lot of people carrying this knowledge now. We're primed for this. And then I think it comes down to how do we integrate it into just a practical day-to-day remembrance? And that's where I'm putting all of my energy now, is into, how can I realize that really the blueprint, as you outlined, is our day. It's our day. It's our ability to communicate within ourselves, through ourselves, both as this self as well as that self. And that language isn't just verbal, right? Like it's not just, it's very symbolic. And it can come to you through colleagues. It can come to you through people that you consider maybe not in alignment. It can come to you from people you feel are, because everything is speaking to us, you know. And I love shamanism, I love mysticism, mythology, and it all kind of gets back to that nexus point of, hey, everything is communicating, everything is alive, everything has being, everything is the being. And so as much as we might feel compartmentalized or separate within our scope, that's really just an algorithm. That's just a mechanism to behave as such. So like you said, we can take ultimate blueprints and integrate them in a very practical, time-based sequence. And it's a remembering. It's a remembering. Like, you are the trees. You are all the politics. You are everything that you can imagine and see, whether you love it, whether you hate it. It's a reflection of you. And when we can, you know, practice that perspective and harbor it and work it into our being, you know, you're still going to be met with challenges, because what would this place be without that? But suddenly you're much more graceful within how you interact with the challenges, less restrictive and less resistant to the challenges, because now the challenges become mechanisms to enable your growth and your, you know, your overall experience, which is why we're here, you know. And so I feel like most of the last 10 years, I spent a lot of time feeling like I was trapped in a day job. And I was actually cleaning toilets for like 5 years. And I learned a lot that I could have never expected to have learned. Because the fundamentals of, you know, cleaning and all that is pretty straightforward. But being able to be of service to people, regardless of the level of accolade or the title or the way that it appears within the social circuits, being able to be of service regardless, will really season you within realizing that you're always serving yourself through others, you know, and you're not an isolated component. And I think just being able to slow down, just something I'm constantly working with and integrating myself, can allow us to realize the, you know, on the heightened end of being able to be like, yo, I wrote this guide and I released this guide and this is this great energy. Even just to the simplicity of me waking up in the morning and wiping my kid's butt. It's all divine. You know, and I being able to realign with that can really calibrate us, because now it's not off and afar, you know, our will and all these things. It's already arranged. We're already being cradled by God, as God, with God. And if there's anything that I enjoy doing, whether it's through the music or my writing or my coaching, it's really just relaying that message again and again, and in as many forms as I can, to be able to bridge the gap on the language styles and the language sets, because everybody has different affiliations of how words integrate with their internal energy patterns, and sometimes certain words might be triggering. Sometimes maybe they're not, and that could be in a good or bad way, quote unquote. But really, the continuity comes when we can begin formatting that inner circuitry, and then recreating the language sets and how we're putting words together and how we're interpreting words. And then this relinquishes us ultimately. Like when we can format a language within ourselves and with others and within our interpretations of things, it frees us from the bondage of blame and shame, whether that's on ourselves or others. It's all too easy to get into that game. I still do. And it's because of the apparent reality, the way that we're perceiving things going on. And so one of the fundamental things that I do a lot within my coaching, and it just like the main part of the service, like I have no secrets, you know what I mean? I'll literally walk you guys through everything that I do. But it's just, as you know, I'm sure, and I'm sure other people that are part of your community know, it's really not necessarily about like, having a secret kept piece of knowledge, but it's really about taking a particular truth and then integrating that in a personal experience. And that's the driving factor of all my services. It's not me having like something that no one else has. It's me being open to learning and teaching simultaneously with whoever I'm with. And it's a really powerful mode to be in because you don't have blame or shame. You don't have expectation. You can just show up, hold space, and let the moment guide itself. And in a lot of ways, this is very freeing because now you're not caught on this ideation of what it was supposed to be or what it wasn't, but you're at peace with what it is. And in the basic sense, I got turned on to Neville Goddard. For anybody who may or may not be familiar with Neville Goddard and his legacy of books, but specifically The Power of Awareness. And he essentially takes the gospel and he breaks it down in a psychological perspective and how the conscious mind and the subconscious mind communicate. And the gospel as itself and like the whole entirety of the Bible, it has myriad of layers. We can look at it astrotheologically, we can look at it socially, we can look at it personally in a psychological sense, and I mean the list goes on and on and on and on and on, and much like life, right? And Neville Goddard's perspectives and being able to examine how the various characters in the story and sets of the gospel and the Bible as a whole represent our inner faculties. They represent our psychological sets. And this ties into astrotheology as well, because it's all influenced, it's all interconnected. And one of my favorite things that I took from Neville, which I really try to harbor and anchor in within what I do coaching-wise on the personal level, is, when you come down to the triad of, everything perceivably going on coming in through the five senses. And then you have what you might call action, or your doings and your effect, cause and effect within the world. And then your inner stirrings, which you can call thought, emotion, etc. The way in which we oftentimes talk in the English language and in the modern day, we speak about those three phenomena as though our inner workings are at the mercy of all the things coming in through the five senses. And that can be true, but at the same time, when we, through affirmation, through meditation, through self-inquiry, through sitting with self-discovery, self-empowerment, as you outline it, we can begin to realize that we can conjure or stir particular emotional or thought sets. I think a lot of people are familiar with the fact that you can direct your thoughts, you can imagine and go different ways with it. And in that very same sense, it's subtle at first, but as we sit more and more within the nature of watching and feeling and experiencing our emotional sets, which are really, it's all mental. All of it's collected in the mental. All is mental. Then we actually have the ability to use sequences of affirmations or visualizations to ignite particular emotional and thought sets. And that can change drastically. That can change the outside sensory input. And this happens on a lot of different levels, but two of my favorite levels is that it changes internally, right? So now, like the subconscious mind, it's going to take in everything. It's not going to refute anything. The conscious mind can. The conscious mind can go this way, that way. Oh no, I don't want to think about that anymore. I want to let that go and compartmentalize it for later. And it can jump around. I like to refer to it as the RAM, the random access memory. But then the subconscious mind is like the hard drive. And everything that gets put into the hard drive stays on the hard drive unless you wipe it, right? And so throughout your entirety of life, as you're experiencing things, it's all coming into the subconscious. And not just things you see or hear, but your entire body is a mechanism. And all of the senses, as well as all the things that you're thinking, feeling, etc., all get loaded into the subconscious. So when we leave ourselves to unconsciously navigating life, you can still discover these truths. But when we make declarations and we make agreements with ourself, spirit, the nature of reality, and we do it consistently, frequently, sound, frequency, vibration is the set of all. When we do things frequently, it accumulates within the subconscious over time. And now what will begin to happen is as you go through your day, whereas you might feel like, I don't know if I can do that, or I don't feel quite right about everything that's going on right now. Maybe I shouldn't do this. Maybe I should resist this. That chatter, which is being relayed from the subconscious mind, can begin to be transformed into a positive, affirming notion. And so as you walk throughout your day, these sets, like let's say every day you wake up, I am taken care of. I'm good to go. You say this to yourself and you feel it, you envision it every day, routinely, over and over again. Start to feed back within the times when you're leaving yourself at bay, when you're leaving yourself without intentional direction or any of that. It'll just autopilot itself to a degree. And what can then begin to happen, which is really beautiful, and I think this is the mystery, because I don't have a template around this per se, but I look forward to outlining to whatever degree I can throughout my life. Beyond it just becoming a thing that's coming internally, it starts to show up outside of you in the most magical and miraculous way. And you can't determine exactly how it's going to happen, but you can determine the state. You can determine the state of the vision. And when it really starts to show itself, it's not just sure, the law of attraction is part of it. I think a lot of people are familiar with that, but that's the knowledge aspect, right? Like that's the tool aspect. But the experiential aspect is what Neville Goddard talks about as the law of assumption. You assume that it already is, and I'm grateful for it. I'm super grateful for this day. I'm super grateful for all of the magical things that will continue to express themselves throughout the day. And now suddenly my language set within how I'm relating to my reality every day has shifted. Now I'm not fighting reality. Reality is my homie on every level. And as you harbor that set again and again and again, it does what it does, and it just it continues to blossom out from the inside. And so in short, I feel like I touched most of the bases that felt right to touch on. Do you have any questions, or anybody in the chat have any questions or things they'd like to share or expand on?
Oh man, first of all, I just want to say thank you for sharing all that. And
my honor. I appreciate being here.
Yeah, thank you for being transparent with us. Many different messages that I received, that's for sure, and very grateful for that. Hmm. That was um that was a really good flow, man. Really good flow. And thank you for being in your truth with us. Greatly appreciate that.
Yeah, for the self.
For the self. And um, questions. I don't really have too many. Um,
Sure.
it's really nice just holding the space for you, honestly. Um, one question I do have is, so when did you start developing this this really conscious chemistry with music?
With music specifically.
Yeah, like creating music, that is.
Yeah. So my discovery and my affinity started growing up in my household. And excuse me one sec. I'm just gonna stretch, stand up. So it started within my household growing up. And my household, you know, had a lot of love, but it had a lot of dysfunction too. And I didn't always feel like I had a means to just build creatively with my family, be it, you know, my brother or my parents. And there was a lot of calamity and things going on that didn't really resonate with my soul. And so music naturally became this means by which I could express myself, and I could learn myself, and really just find peace within like a process, you know what I mean, rather than and all these other energy forces. So that started when I was really young, like probably around like the age of 10, 11, 12. But then as I got into high school, I really got into garage bands, you know, and I was in like metal bands and like pop punk bands, kind of fusion bands. I got into all different styles. And then when I was about, I don't know, 18, 19, I was having a hard time always holding down bands. And it was for a myriad of different reasons. But there was one guitarist in one of my bands who I was pretty good friends with, and he showed me Fruity Loops, FL Studio, and I just started dabbling with that in the cold of the winter in my garage where I grew up in Modesto, California, and I just loved it. I loved it. It was just so dope because I could just create an entire reality of sonic, you know, goodness, and it was awesome. I love interacting with people, and I love building with people in music. It's one of the most amazing things. But when you don't always have that available, because it requires a lot of energy, a lot of agreements, etc., production is an amazing way that you can just, you know, have a blank canvas that you can infinitely paint on sonically. And so that was another big like level of initiation for me, just sitting on the computer with like a demo of FL Studio, YouTubing things left and right as much as I could. And that was like 08. And then I actually formed a group, which I'm still part of. We don't perform quite as much as we used to, but it's called Third Eye Team, throughout my 20s. And during my early 20s, I was going to college for a bit. I was a dropout of high school, very, very just resistant to the system at the time. But then I did end up going back to community college and getting a certificate in recording arts and sound. And during that time is when we formed our group, Third Eye Team. And at the same time, I was also really getting into utilizing fungus in a microdosing means and meditation. And just like deepening my interest with philosophy, et cetera. And a lot of the guys in our group were too. And that was really fun. And we did that for a number of years. But in 2015, I didn't really feel like I feel like it was kind of stagnating, like the process of, you know, creating in that way. Kind of touching on what you had said at the beginning of all this episode, you know, doing the same thing over and over again is the definition of insanity. If you're expecting different results, right? And I just felt the call of the wild, like in the most sincere way. My wife, her and I were just dating at the time, but she actually learned about working up in Yosemite National Park. And so I was like, that sounds kind of interesting. Like, let's try it out. And a few months down the line, I was moving to Yosemite National Park, and I had lived in the suburbs my entire life, so I knew nothing about the wild except for occasionally going out on hikes. And I spent 7 years, 7 years working in the park. Yeah, that's cool. I didn't actually realize that. That's a very specific number. But yeah, so I spent 7 years working in Yosemite National Park, and actually took a break from music during the first 3 years. I would jam out with people that I'd meet up there, like fellow hippie folk, and like just people that were vibing with harmonicas, beatboxing, rapping, freestyling. But I didn't put a lot of intentionality behind things. I just wanted it to be my therapy, and just a freeing thing. But then,
Exactly.
what's that?
I said exactly.
Yeah. And then I got married. And when I got married, I felt the, this like necessity to be like a provider, right? And I didn't want to feel strapped to a day job. Like, it just didn't feel like it was within my chemistry ultimately to be working under people or in a formatted situation. Like, I'm a very creative person. I want to create everything within my life. And I've always felt that since I was a kid.
Yeah.
And so when I got married, I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to go really hard. I'm going to go really hard with the masculine divine and just like make this music production thing work. But the universe had a different path for me ultimately. And there were a lot of good breakthroughs, but it was really challenging. It was really challenging to learn myself throughout that process and find a way to, commit to it and realize that there were certain times in which, it wouldn't be therapy for me. And that was really hard. That was a hard thing to like stomach. And it was really conditional to like culture, society, a lot of that stuff. But it was part of the journey. It was part of the necessary journey I had to go on personally. And throughout that sequence, went through a lot of grief. My mother and my father actually passed within the course of like a few years' time. And then a really good homie of mine, who I was connected with in a lot of deep levels, fell from a cliff in Yosemite. And this was all during like the last 3 years or so, 3 or 4 years. And through all of that, I just started to really re-examine the way that I was, tying into providing service around music. And as much as I still produce, and I still have clients or people that I partner with, people I collab with music, the music side, after I took on a personal spiritual coach, I realized that like I am a coach, like in every right. Like I'm a learner and I'm a student and a teacher in every facet of life, like in every moment of life. And I was already coaching. I was already coaching like in my 9 to 5s. I just didn't realize it. I just was like, this is just how I am. Like I just care, and everybody's me. So I'm of honor and service to all. So like, let's make things happen. And like, let's be therapists for one another. Let's be homies with one another. And when I took on my spiritual coach, I began to really realize, I was like, yo, like he loaded me with great insights. But from the first like connection, I was like, yo, like, I would love to do this. I'd love to help people, like, and be able to provide that, And so yeah, that was like kind of the last like 6 months of my life or so. And so now at this point, I'm still providing the service in the mixing sense, but now on the back end, bro, like it's just so freeing for me personally to step into servitude on all these various levels. And then in a lot of ways, be a bit more, indulge a bit more in the therapy of what music is for me now. And that's kind of been where I've been at lately, is realizing that there is a time and place for all of it. And that it's all service. It's all service. I just had to realize that there were ways in which I needed to serve myself. And I wasn't doing that for a really long time. And it's kind of difficult at times because we make it that way. But as much as we take time to build and create and explore within ourselves with music or whatever our medium of creation is, we can get that much better at serving people. And as long as that, I think that like that kind of binary understanding is there, that like, hey, there's a time to serve the bigger self, and then there's a time to serve the smaller self, in lieu of serving the bigger self. I think is where the continuity gets established, and then it becomes like a conscious integration, like in a daily practice, and it's, you know, it's no longer a fight, it's kind of just a flow.
Absolutely. Well said. Well said, brother, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I really appreciate being here, man. It's great to sit in, just with like resonant vibes, and I love all of what you're doing. I love what you stand for and what you're helping others and yourself to further integrate. It's a really beautiful thing, and I find on my own experience, the more I align myself with these sort of, you know, introspective jumps daily, the more it just shows up outside of me, and I'm no longer making agreements to be in situations that aren't in my best interest or fulfillment, and that's what I would call alchemy in the most practical sense.
Yeah, it's Ashe. Wow, man, really resonate with a lot of that stuff that you've talked about today, and wow. You know, music for me was always, music is always something I love. I never really got heavily into it, like as a kid or in school or any of that stuff. But once I got out of high school, I just started getting really inspired on writing. And I started writing poetry and rap. And this was back in 2000 and I would say 14 or 15. And it really started becoming like one of my most healthiest and most powerful ways to outlet my thoughts, as well as any emotions that were coming through. And it was like this free space, basically, of just being able to express myself on paper with really no limitation. No, like, okay, if I write this down, it's going to be taken seriously or it's going to be taken this way. It's kind of just an expression. And having that was such a nice discovery for my mind, especially with how active my mind is. And, you know, being a Gemini sun sign, being an air sign, very much in the mind when it comes to artistic energy and creative energy. So discovering that outlet was beautiful. And then I started recording 2015 was the first time I recorded. And then I recorded in 2017, 2019. And I haven't recorded since, but just been really freestyling whenever I feel like it. And the freestyling is just so therapeutic and uplifting.
Yes, it is.
And, you know, it's a medicine in itself.
Yeah,
it really.
It's a great way to calibrate the conscious to subconscious connection. It's a really powerful way. And I didn't know it, bro, but for like, you know, 10 plus years, I'm an MC. Like I've been writing like raps, like in depth, and freestyling a lot. But it really wasn't until like the last few months that I began to realize that like all of those raps were affirmations, and they were programming my subconscious. I was reprogramming my subconscious through my creations, and I didn't know it, because ultimately I was looking at it like, oh, I just want to be of service to all, and like I get the bigger picture in certain ways, and I want to relay it through my art. But I didn't realize I was simultaneously healing myself, as a shaman does, right? Like a shaman helps to heal others in order to continue their own healing.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I bust the flow off the top of the dome. Yo, I'm ready to roam from here back to Greece. You feel me? Yo, fly like a pheasant. See, I'm the king and the peasant. Yo, I reckon that I can make it whatever I want. I used to spend all day smoking a blunt. Now I really don't, but that's all right. I just write and recite the lyrics of the light inside of me, inside of you. Who? The one that knew, the one that began to grow. Yo, flow.
Ooh. That was a beautiful flow. I
Thanks.
guess it's time for me to match you and go toe to toe so we can both elevate, step into a new place where we can discover our fate after peeling back the layers of time and space that have somehow trapped your mind from being able to see outside of the blind. And it's time for you to take off so you can be and shine and give everybody what they need. Something like that vitamin D from the sun, because we're rising with Ra, and I'm the sun, and you're the sun, and we're in the flesh. So we are just here to recognize and remember that we are all spiritual beings in the vehicle of flesh.
Love it.
Ooh,
And so it is.
freestyle on Rising with Ra.
Yeah, we'll have to do more of those. I would really love to do,
Yes.
you know, a moment where we sit in. Maybe I'll host a random live and just bump some beats so we can just,
Bro, we
you know,
could do
go off.
like Freestyle Fridays or something.
That would be dope, actually. That would be really cool. Let's talk more about it and build on that concept. I love that.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you for that. Thank you for that moment.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, I have a couple of things I got to attend to. I would honestly sit here for like the next 4 hours and just vibe out. But man, thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for doing what you're doing, being what you are, and just shining that light, man. That good light to shade integration. Like it's a beautiful thing, and you're very inspiring to me. And yeah, it's just dope. It's dope. It's dope to have met you. I think I caught you from a live that you were doing with Gary, Mr. Ability.
Oh yeah, Mr. Ability.
Yeah,
That's my dude.
yeah, he's my dude as well, and like just resonate to the core, you know. And so I love that I was able to just find you, and that the universe aligned us, because it's I witnessed that it'll be more and more beautiful creations collectively. So.
Absolutely, man. I'm grateful as well. And thank you for hopping on and being our sacred guest for Rising with Ra today. And also later tonight, for everybody out there, I will be a guest on his space, holding space. And that will be tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern. And it'll be here on Instagram Live. And are you hosting it on your page?
Yeah, I host it on my page. And then we kind of act as like a triad of hosts between Genesis the God, Blanjou, and myself. And we kind of just hold space. It kind of blossomed itself out of me and Blanjou having a discussion of being able to just be in gratitude and in process, and not have too much intentionality or too much expectation. And so we were like, yeah, let's just do this on Wednesday nights, you know, we'll hold space. And I was like, yeah, let's call it holding space, you know, it's got so many entendres in itself. So we'll hold space and, you know, invite others in and then just see where it goes. And so far it's been really great, and Spirit's doing its thing.
Beautiful. Yeah, I look forward to that tonight. It's going to be such a flow. It's going to be like, I mean, if you guys really enjoyed, you know, like the conversations that we just had on this live, it's going to be very similar type of topics. So we're going to be really getting into just multidimensionality in life and exploring consciousness. And I'll give you guys a little bit about my backstory, you know, what I've been through on my path, and what really ultimately have been some of the biggest things that have really stuck out to me and given me wisdom to share with all of you guys.
Yeah, it's gonna be great, bro. I really look forward to it. Just between the mix of us all, like we all have so many great overlapping and touching points. But then we're also unique within the way we explain and outline and study life. And I really look forward to how tonight unfolds. So yeah, thank you again for having me here. Thank you for all you're doing. I look forward to checking out more of the sacred community, and when time allows, divine timing aligns, I will definitely be joining and you know, making sure I contribute and you know, jump into the Discord and do my due diligence to be a part.
Sounds good, brother, man. I look forward to that. And until then, continue to be you and continue to remember who you are and shine that light, man.
Yes, you too. I and I, my brother.
Have a blessed day, and enjoy the rest of your rising.
Yeah, you too, my brother. I appreciate you, bro. Big gratitude to you and everybody holding it down in the chat, and everybody catching it after the fact.
Ashe.
And so it is.
See you tonight. All right, everybody. So that was our sacred guest here on Rising with Ra this Wednesday, Aquavision. And you guys can follow him here on Instagram. And I'll also put his information down below on the replay, as well as the description on YouTube, Sacred Light Healing and Wellness, where you'll be able to watch this replay in full and edit it through the full episode edition tonight. All right, so let's go ahead and navigate into the final part of Rising with Ra. And we are going to be doing our chakra activation for the higher heart chakra. Higher heart chakra, for everybody out there, located at the top of the chest. It is represented by the color pink or turquoise. And the characteristics of the higher heart chakra is your ability to transmute darkness into light or density into light. This is also the energy center for your inner joy, as well as patience and tolerance, and your ability to have higher Christ awareness. And that is the higher heart chakra. Now I'm going to go ahead and touch briefly on some of the Norse Viking gods and goddesses that we are going to be choosing from to help activate the higher heart chakra today. So, first one we have is Odin. And Odin is the protector of knowledge, god of poetry and magic. We have Frigg. Frigg is Odin's wife. She is the goddess of beauty, love, fertility, and fate. Balder. She is described as living between heaven and earth, as well as represents radiance, beauty, kindness, and fairness. Next we have Loki. He is the mischievous god, the jokester. Also, holder of wisdom. Next we have Thor. Thor is the protector of humanity. He is the god of thunder and lightning. Next we have Freya. She is one of the most passionate goddesses, and she is also aligned with love, fertility, and beauty. All right, so you can go ahead and choose whichever god and goddess that you would like at your own will to help connect with your higher heart chakra today. And feel free to put in the comments which one you choose and why. So for my higher heart chakra, I am going to go ahead and go with Frigg, who is Odin's wife. Her archetypal energy is beauty, love, fertility, and fate. And I just feel that very much aligns with the type of energies for the higher heart chakra. Frigg is Odin's wife. All right, so crystals that you may utilize for the higher heart chakra rose quartz, selenite, emerald, moldavite, aquamarine, aventurine. This is a moldavite right here. And then this is a rose quartz. Alright, so go ahead and get comfortable, and you can either sit or lay down. If you're sitting, you want to try to have your back straight. You may use a pillow or anything that helps support. If you're laying down, you want to have your legs straight, not crossed. And then relaxing the shoulders, allowing the shoulders to drop, releasing any tension. And breathing in through the nose, expanding the diaphragm. Drawing the breath down to the upper chest, to the higher heart. Exhaling out of the mouth. Continue to focus on this breathing pattern through the Reiki session, as this will bring more focused energy to help release as well as receive. Continuing to breathe, breathing in through the nose to the higher heart chakra, and breathing out. Taking our hands with our crystal in our left palm, closing our fingers together, and then placing them on the upper chest. Left hand first, right over the left. And continue to consciously breathe to the higher heart chakra. And as you breathe, you may visualize the body of the guide, or the energy of the guide that you chose, the Norse god or goddess. You may visualize their energy helping activate and cleanse the higher heart. Continuing to breathe. And you may repeat this affirmation out loud or inside of your own mind if you wish. I affirm that I am releasing and letting go of any attachments or thought patterns that I'm externalizing, that are taking away my balance and my focus from being my greatest self. I am letting go and surrendering to transmutation, trusting in my light, trusting in the divine, that what I am holding on to and what I am feeling may shift and transmute from out of my being. And I affirm that I am grounding myself into stability, patience, and tolerance for the matrix system and the experiences that will come in the matrix. All right. And take a final deep breath in. And release. All right. So thank you all for tapping in and rising together on this day. Thank you for receiving and being a part of that heart chakra activation. You guys can watch the card reading for the collective for today and tomorrow on the replay or on my YouTube channel, Sacred Light Healing and Wellness. You can also tap into the conversation I have with our sacred guest of the space, Aqua Vision. And you can also catch this higher heart chakra activation at any time on this replay or on the YouTube channel. And I'll be back Friday at 11:11 a.m. Eastern. And be on the lookout today, as I will be dropping a new video about the Sacred Light community that is in private on Discord. And if you want to be a part of this community that is starting to get its feet on the floor and starting to bring minds together and hearts together, just let me know, reach out, and we can have a conversation and go through boundaries and see if we align and be a part of the Sacred Light community, Sacred Kingdom, as we're going to grow, expand, have everyday life conversations like we did today in this live, but be able to grow and build with it in a beautiful conscious community space. That's just one alleyway of what comes with it. There is much more, but just reach out if you are interested. Wholeness, balance, love, vibrations. Have a blessed Wednesday.